Well, hello everyone. It's Sibyl Star, and I am here to give the astrology forecast for the coming week of July 3rd to July 9th. Yes, so anyway, I'm learning how to use a new piece of technology there, so I had to just take a little break. Anyway, I'm back again. So welcome to MoonDay Morning Astrology. This is the astrology forecast for the week of July 3rd to July 9th. This week's really a super powerful week. The sun is in Cancer. It is Cancer, what is that? 12 to 18 degrees. And we're going to talk first about that, but there's some other really super interesting things that are happening this week. So first off, the sun is in Cancer, and in Cancer, we have shifted from the mental endeavors of Gemini into the affairs of the heart. Cancer is all about the affairs of the heart. It is very sensitive, emotional, and moody, as it is ruled by the moon. Cancer is the first water sign, and it asks us to feel every emotion, as its ruler, the moon, is said to represent the emotional body. And if we repress our emotions, they often become blocked energy in our bodies, which can cause illness. I just participated in a virtual workshop this weekend on, well, it was a group who had done a whole week of a lymph cleanse. And then the virtual workshop followed. It was kind of like several different presenters were there, and I gave a presentation, and part of my presentation was actually on the medical astrology of the lymph system, which is ruled by the moon. The moon rules all of our bodily fluids as well as the emotional body, and the lymph system, our emotions are directly tied to the lymph system. The lymph system removes toxins from our body, not only physical toxins, but emotional toxins. And of course, the way to move emotions is to feel them. It is when we're not feeling them, is when we repress them, and they cause stagnation, emotional stagnation, energy blocks, and ultimately illness as the toxins build up in our body. So it's really important to remember how everything is connected. Anyway, Cancer is also very imaginative and creative. Cancer is a healing, nurturing energy, and many people who are caregivers, nurses, counselors, etc., carry this energy. Cancer relates to our home and our family and our most private selves. And of course, Cancer is also very connected, to, like I said, to home and family, but to also, the mother archetype, and it is an energy of nurturing, whether your children are children of the body, children of your creation through art, or plants, flowers, whatever it is you are nurturing. Cancer's primary need is emotional security and a need for belonging. And so we may withdraw if we are hurt and build up emotional defenses like the shell of a turtle. It is the archetype of the mother. As I said, whatever it is, we are mothering. The shadow of Cancer is to take things personally that are not meant personally, and to hide behind the mother archetype. It is often easier to care for the needs of others than to get one's own needs met. So it's important to be aware of that. And of course, xenophobia. Cancer is very clannish, and it is that place of that sense of belonging, and those who don't belong are sometimes not welcome. All right. So we're starting off the week, though, with the full moon in Capricorn, which is the opposite sign. And it is at 11 degrees, 19 minutes of Capricorn on July 3rd at 4:40 a.m. Pacific. It is a supermoon. It is the first of 4 supermoons, and a supermoon is when the moon is closer to the earth, so it appears larger and has a stronger emotional impact. The moon represents the emotional body, and so and as they say, you know, all of the memories of the soul are encapsulated in emotional form in the moon. Okay. But the moon has no light of her own. She only reflects the light of the sun. And so it is actually, when we look at a full moon chart, is really important to look at both signs because it is the integration of both. It is the light of the sun coming through the Capricorn filter. Okay. And so it balances the energy of the sun in Capricorn and, or excuse me, of the sun in Cancer. And, you know, Capricorn is the archetype of the father, and Cancer is the archetype of the mother. And so I feel like Capricorn, when it shows up, is ruled by Saturn. Saturn always asks for maturity, and the moon is Capricorn is very much about emotional maturity and character building. And I love to tell this story because I think it's so appropriate, you know, of where, you know, because it's the parental energy. Cancer and Capricorn are the parental energies. And so Cancer, of course, is the mother that gives the unconditional love, you know, the one who goes to court with her child who, you know, has done something wrong and she knows it, but she says, you know, I love him because he's mine. You know, my love is unconditional. Whereas the father energy is more about character building, you know, the one that says, all right, I love you. You're 21, get out and get a job, you know, go out, take care of yourself, learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. And they're both different aspects of parental love. Okay. Now, this particular moon is trine Jupiter. And of course, Jupiter brings good fortune and doors opening. And I feel like this is about through emotional honesty and maturity, owning our stuff, that there is, you know, doors opening. But of course, the shadow of Capricorn is judgment. Judgment of self, judgment of others. And it's also this Capricorn moon is not only opposite the sun, but it's opposite Mercury. And so I think it's, you know, Capricorn can be really hard on ourselves and others. And but with Mercury involved is saying, watch your self-talk as well as how you speak to others. Okay. Or you might feel judged and sensitive to the words of others yourself. And to know that may be a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So it's an opportunity to bring it into conscious awareness to heal it. And once again, to not take anything personally, but recognize if you are triggered that it is an opportunity to heal something within ourselves where we don't feel we are enough. Okay. This full moon also squares Chiron, so it is showing us our wounds around autonomy of self as related to wanting parental approval or the approval of our authority figures in our life can result in judgment if we feel like we're not measuring up. But the truth is Capricorn and Saturn are always about claiming our own personal authority. So we might have some teachings around that, okay? um the sun is in Cancer, is conjunct Mercury trine Saturn, and that's a beautiful aspect, but it's another indication of the teachings around emotional maturity, but with the gift of the unconditional love of the mother, knowing that we are always held in the love of the mother while we are growing and stretching and maturing emotionally. Okay. Another component of this full moon is that Uranus is square Venus. It is a separating square. I think it was exact on the day before, on Sunday. What was that day? July 2nd, but it's in effect all week. It's actually in effect for the next 2 weeks because that's really how long the energy of the full moon lasts. It really lasts about 2 weeks. And so Venus, of course, often refers to our relationships, intimate relationships, as well as friendships. And Uranus brings disruption and awakening and aha moments, but bringing disruption especially to relationships that we are in for comfort or security. It may show us that we are no longer in the same resonant field and move us out of our comfort zone, showing us, and by showing us where we feel like an outsider. Uranus is the archetype of the outsider. It's like it's places where we may have once fit in our lives, but no longer do. In this a full moon energy of Capricorn, we may judge ourselves or others and try to make one of us wrong. But the truth is, the relationship may have stagnant energy, not allowing for growth. And so the key is to not judge, to not make us wrong. If you're feeling like you're not fitting in somewhere, it's because your resonant field is changing. Yeah. Okay. Now, and to know that this is just happening everywhere, we are kind of gathering more into like-minded communities, and that would also be Uranus. Okay, because we're getting ready for this shift, and so we need to be in this field of resonant field of like-minded souls to really work together. Okay. All right. Now, the next thing that's happening is just super big. This happens every year, but it's just so powerful. And that is the sun is conjunct the fixed star Sirius. Now, it is exact on July 6th this year, but it's actually in we call it the Sirius Gateway. And I would say it is activated from July 3rd to July 9th. So the whole week is in alignment with the fixed star Sirius. And it is uh, it's the brightest star in the sky, in the night sky, put it that way. The only objects that are celestial objects that are brighter are, of course, the moon, Venus, and Jupiter. And some believe that we are in a binary star system with Sirius, and actually some who channel off-world entities and beings say from their perspective, we actually are in the Sirius star system. But it does appear we are orbiting around the same gravitational point. And of course, in Egypt, Sirius was considered to be the celestial form of the great goddess Isis. She's the face of the great mother. And to know that when we are in this field, we are held in her arms and we may really feel it. It's also really important to know that the sun of the chart of the United States on the day of the Declaration of Independence was signed, because that's considered the birth of the nation, is conjunct Sirius. It's in alignment, and conjunct means there's a merging of energies. And so the United States, and the founders of the United States were Freemasons, and they chose this day because it is in alignment with Sirius. And if you've been to Washington, D.C., you know how much Greco-Egyptian iconography there is all over the city. And so, and they knew that, Isis was the celestial, that Sirius was the celestial form of Isis. So we are actually the United States is actually held in the arms of the Great Mother, and to just know that. Okay, but back to, it's also known as our spiritual sun. It is the sun behind the sun, they say. And of course, it's many times larger than our sun. And some say it is the mother-son relationship. Mother was Sirius, the sun, S-O-N-S-U-N. Okay, but when the sun is in alignment with Sirius in this gateway, it's about accessing high frequency energy that activates us to higher levels of spiritual awareness. There is high frequency energy coming in, and it's coming in through our sun, because it is at this time of the year, it is the sun behind the sun. Okay. And it is deep. The energy of Sirius is deeply connected to ancient Egypt, as many of their gods are divine beings, they say, came from Sirius. And also because in Sirius, they are known to have mystery schools. The Syrians are more advanced in the metaphysical sense, as Sirius is the home to one of the most advanced training centers or universities known as mystery schools in the Milky Way galaxy. And many ascended masters travel here to study and teach. So some of those teachings may come through, especially those who have been to these mystery schools. These mystery schools were actually taught on Earth as well, because the beings from Sirius have been very involved in the evolution of human consciousness over millennia. And any places where you see pyramids, you will know the Syrians have been there. And there are many of us here that are Syrian star seeds or feel very connected to Sirius. And so during this time of the sun in activated by Sirius, it may become easier to receive message from the star system Sirius, from Syrian beings, or remember your past and parallel lives there. Now, for those of you who are interested in learning more about the star Sirius and the Sirius star system, as well as the star beings from Sirius, I have started a video series on my YouTube channel. It's called Meet Your Star Nation Relatives. And I have done one on Arcturus, and my most recent is on Sirius. So if you're interested in learning more about Sirius, or if you might be a Syrian starseed yourself, please check that video out. Okay. All right. And of course, I also, do galactic readings. And so if you're interested, that takes it even one step further. All right. So anyway, so it's a big week for the Great Mother, and for the energy of Sirius, as well as the full moon in Capricorn. Now, the moon, what is the moon doing this week? All right. So Monday through Tuesday morning, the moon is in Capricorn. And as I talked about, Capricorn's about emotional maturity. When Capricorn's around, we also need structure and planning. It's certainly not a time to wing it. It is often, we might feel a desire for success and achievement. Manifestation also is one of the aspects of Capricorn. If you're resourceful, don't want to waste energy, time, or resources, and it can be a very productive time. But like I said, it's also asked for emotional maturity. So we might have some stuff show up in our field that we have to own, look at and say, yeah, this is true. And this is how I'm going to respond to it. Okay. Knowing with Capricorn too, that, the manifestation part is our choices, that we can always choose how to respond to any energy coming in. All right. And of course it ends with the moon opposite Pluto. So Tuesday could be a very emotionally challenging day. You have to work hard, maybe you have to own a mistake, fix a mistake, apologize for a mistake, and then move on, and then just let it go. Just do not hold that self-judgment. Okay. All right. Most of Tuesday through Wednesday, the moon is in Aquarius. Aquarius likes everything that is new and unusual. Interactions could be more impersonal than personal. It's a time for brainstorming, getting new ideas, brainstorming with others. It's a very visionary sign that can see the future. And so it could be, if you're working on a project, this would be a great time for brainstorming with others. Okay. And it's hard to stick to schedules with Aquarius because it's one of those signs that really follows the flow of the energy, and personal freedom is most important. You might feel restricted. Let's say some of the plans made on Monday and early Tuesday might feel restrictive as it moves on. Okay. Thursday through Saturday, the moon is in Pisces. And Pisces, we may not want to face reality. It's a very dreamy, impressionable kind of a moon, sensitive, intuitive, and compassionate, very imaginative. And of course, Pisces really does not fit in a box. It wants to flow. It's all about following the flow of the energy and trusting the process. But early on Thursday, the moon will come in contact with Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces, and Saturn, of course, likes to contain a box. It likes to create containers. It wants to control the situation, and with Pisces, you often just can't. And so it's really about, I feel, this is what I want to say. So the emotional body. So the emotional body is one of those. Could respond with fear. Let's put it that way, fear and anxiety. And because you can't control the situation. So it's just really important to sit, meditate, get centered, and allow yourself to flow with what is wanting to happen, with putting, some boundaries around it that you can. All right. Okay. And of course, it ends with it conjunct Neptune. And, Neptune is so much about the flow. All right, on Sunday, we have the moon in Aries. Aries is about new beginnings, a fresh start. It has a lot of energy behind it, a lot of motivation, because, Pisces just wants to flow with what's happening. But Aries is about, taking a little more control and charge of our lives, of our personal autonomy and our personal authority. All right. So that is what I see for you this week. Should be a wonderful week. Wishing you all many blessings this week. Like I said, if you're interested in a reading, all of my contact information is in the box below. And namaste and blessings to all.